We're going to tune in. We're going to do a channeled message. As I said, you don't need to do anything to just receive, and whatever you are meant to hear will be heard. Greetings, beloved and beloveds. We know who is here. We know who is here by divine appointment, who is open and ready, who have been asking for help, for guidance, for deeper understanding, for peace. We know you are here, and so we greet you personally. Though this message may be heard by more than one, it is for you. And it is so intimately yours. You will allow yourself to feel that intimacy. There is no magic that exists that can create this experience of peace for you. In other words, there is nothing external to you that you do not already have, that you do not already carry within you, that can create an experience of connection and peace. For that ability is yours. So in this moment now, you can give your mind permission to stop its endless seeking for a solution to problems that you already have the answer for. What is missing from your experience, dearest, is not something that you are going to find on your doorstep. It is not a magical set of numbers or letters arranged on a page. It is not in herbs. It is not in anything that you would collect on your shelves. What you feel is missing is already with you. The choice to have a human experience included the choice to forget some of the essential laws of truth, to forget your magnitude, to forget your power, to forget your connection to all that is, and to forget the endless love in which you abide. This forgetfulness is why you often will hear us and others come to you to say, remember who you are. The journey that is upon you is not about acquiring and amassing new knowledge. It is not about memorizing a new set of spiritual laws in which to live by. It is not about understanding some overly complicated hierarchy of interdimensional and galactic beings. It is not about trying to figure out how all of this works. Because the truth is, you already have vast knowledge of how this works. The journey ahead of you is about forgetting what you have learned as a human, forgetting all of the beliefs which will teach you that you are separate and alone in a human body, vulnerable, at the mercy of fates outside of you, with something to prove, with complex rules and laws and some sort of societal structure you needed to understand in order to fit in. You are unlearning those things that limit you. You are willingly letting go of a false idea of who you are and how you are meant to experience your life. And through your choice to willingly forget those things which limited you, you choose to remember all that already exists within you, as you, a part of you, closer than your heart, closer than your breath. So giving your mind to end the seeking for yet another book that could potentially give you the answer. The endless seeking for another crystal with the perfect vibration that is going to bring you into the experience you have been craving. The endless seeking in a world where you will only find answers that reinforce a belief in separation. The seeking can end, for when you stop, when you pause, when you become still and present, fully in the moment, fully in this now, the experience of simply being in an ever unfolding and expanding consciousness, you surrender to the connection because you are not being drawn by thoughts of the past. You are not being distracted by futile thoughts of the future. You are simply present now. And what happens in this moment of hyper now present awareness, if you are still learning to let go of what the world has taught you, as you are still finalizing your lessons of humanness, is that you will be more aware of any of those uncomfortable sensations. This is why often, when starting a practice of awareness, when remembering how to meditate, for it is a remembering, you all know how to meditate, is inherently part of who you are. It is not something you need to learn how to do, but simply remember how to do. You will be hyper aware in those present now moment awarenesses of all that stands between you and that powerful connection with your higher self. They are not blocks that were created externally. They are internal blocks of what you chose to learn. It is not a challenge, or it is not a trial. It is not a test. It is you being aware of what you chose to learn and in turn believe about who you are. You must become aware of those things in order to use your power of choice to say, I am finished with this lesson. I have learned that I am worthy of love, that I am worthy of a life of joy. I am worthy of receiving money and abundance. I am worthy. So this hyper-awareness in this present now moment of some sort of idea that I am unworthy because of an event that unfolded in my day, I see it. I acknowledge that old pattern. I acknowledge what I learned, but it doesn't serve me anymore. I am done with the confines of that limiting belief. And I choose now to surrender it. And I choose the truth, which is of my unconditional worthiness. And in the beginning of this process, dearest, it may feel like there's a lot of those things coming up, even ones you feel as though you have revisited and visited and know better than anything you have experienced in this lifetime, because that is a core lesson, dearest. It is a core lesson, the ones that continue to come up. Those of you that lament that you continue to experience the same relationship over and over again. Those of you that lament that you always have the same outcome in similar situations. It's always me. If anyone's order is going to be forgotten at the table, it's mine. Well, stop that, dear one. You have chosen a core lesson. And now that you are aware of the pattern of this lesson, in fact, you shouted from the rooftops to anyone who would listen about your poor luck and your bad luck, and how this continues to happen to you over and over again, and woe is me. Woe is you. When you choose to stop using your power in such a way. When you choose to recognize that you were giving all of your power and energy into creating the experience you did not want. So now that you're aware of this core lesson, creator, you recognize it in all of the ways it's shown up. You're smart. You are an intelligent human. Don't use that intelligence against you. Use it to your benefit. You recognize the pattern in all of its glory, and every time it starts to come up again, you say, I feel my power. I feel my power in having created those past experiences that reinforced this belief within me. I feel that power, and now I choose to use that power to create a new experience. My food will be first on the table. Instead of stepping in gum, you find a $20 bill on the floor. That gentleman will hold the door for you instead of slamming it in your face. You choose in that moment, when you feel yourself slipping into this old pattern of limiting beliefs, you recognize your power and you say, I choose to use my power differently. And that is your power. That is your choice. Now we realize we strayed a bit from the experience at hand, but this was necessary for you to understand you are not a victim of the world. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not a victim of what has unfolded in your life. Now, this is not to say you are to blame for those terrible experiences that you would deem as trauma, but that you create your tomorrow by how you choose to react to the experiences of today. And as you recognize that power, the more you choose to believe in the words of truth, that you are an interdimensional being, powerful beyond measure, that you have all of the wisdom and knowledge of the universe contained within you, that you are safe and protected, that you are loved, that you are benevolent. The more you use your power of creation as a creator of your experience to choose that truth, the lesson will integrate. The core lesson. Recognize when you begin to lament at a repeating cycle. Recognize when you begin to start harboring feelings of resentment towards yourself or others because a pattern or a cycle is repeating. You often do not realize the magnitude of your ability to simply become aware of those things. That is your power of awareness. Celebrate all of that. There's no hierarchy in the experience of choosing truth. What this means is no aspect of this process is more important than any other part of the process. No miracle is harder than any other miracle. So your ability to become aware that you are repeating a judgment, or that you are choosing a limiting belief, or that you are putting on a mask, your ability to do so, to become aware, is just as powerful and important as the ability to release it, or the ability to feel it, or the ability to choose differently. They are all intertwined and all vital in your process of remembrance. So celebrate all of those stages, dear ones. You tend to wait. You tend to wait to allow yourself to experience a feeling of satisfaction or joy or fulfillment. You wait until it feels like it's complete and done. Why wait? As you cultivate a more celebration along every part of your journey, along every choice, along every breath, that you celebrate who you are. You celebrate your strength. You celebrate your expanding awareness. You celebrate your growth. You will feel the experience of joy much more frequently than you experience it now. There's a reason why collectively humanity has become a now society. Instant gratification. This is actually a reflection of the true essence of all humans. But because you are humans in time, because you are having an experience that unfolds in linear time, you have somehow taught yourself to savor the idea of delayed gratification and have applied this to your spiritual journey. But I tell you now, instant gratification is the most applicable to your spiritual journey. It happens in an instant, dear ones. All it takes is one instant. So stop delaying your gratification when it comes to the growth of your spiritual self. You are shedding layers and layers and layers of false learning. And each layer you become lighter and lighter and lighter. And you remember more and more and more of who you are. It's a magical experience for us to observe, for us to watch unfold, from the perspective of truth. You are complete. You are complete, and this has been already done. But it is beautiful, nonetheless, to watch your unique soul create. So what will you choose to create today in order to experience tomorrow? Do you wish to choose to create more of the struggle and the strife and the resentment and the bitterness and the pain and the sorrow and the suffering? Or do you choose to create an experience of joy and love and abundance, of beauty and magnificence? Feel what needs to be felt. Recognize what needs to be understood, to be let go. And allow yourself to surrender to the connection that already is contained within you. Now we are holding space for you in this light and loving, spacious and free space you find yourself in. Anything that is pulling your attention away from being present, from feeling this love that is all around you. This is a space where you can release it. And we promise the process is simple. You simply say, I release, and complete that sentence with whatever is coming up in your mind, telling you that you cannot be present right now. I release the bitterness of the relationship with my mother. I release the fear I can make a wrong choice. I release the desire to be in control of this situation. I release the attachment to the idea I am not ready. I release the judgment I made poor decisions today. I release the judgment I carry of myself. I release the judgment. Dear ones, you are so hard on yourself. If you could understand even just the tiniest sliver of your pure innocence, of how we see and perceive your choices. There is a neutrality. There is a wisdom that understands. The only thing that makes a choice a wrong choice is your judgment. It was wrong. Especially judgments you harbor of yourself. We see no cause for judgment. You are free to be who you are. Now you may continue releasing, but be particularly mindful of any judgment of self that continues to come to the surface. For the final stages of unlearning are those beliefs that you hold about yourself. You will find it is much easier to change your beliefs about the world, or about other people, or about other humans. You may even find it easy to change your beliefs about the way the universe works. But changing your beliefs about yourself is where the diligence comes in. And we say diligence intentionally. It is a devotion to self. To be devoted to catching yourself when you are judging yourself. And to be vigilant, to choose only loving thoughts to speak to yourself lovingly, to be diligent in being just as aware of the thought system of limitation and beliefs of fear and untrue conclusions that were drawn in your consciousness about yourself. You must be diligent in recognizing them. And the devotion, the act of devotion to self, is of loving and telling yourself that those things were not true. And you're ready now to begin believing new, to begin believing the truth of who you are. We leave today with one final reminder. A reminder that you can never disconnect from the truth of who you are. You are always connected. You are always in communication with the source of love, of the universe, of you. You are living a life that is worth admiration. You are doing and making choices that are leading you into the life you chose to live and to fulfill the purpose of why you decided to go on this crazy adventure in the first place. Recognize you do not need to understand to experience. A hard one for the mind to wrestle. But you do not need to understand how a healing occurred in order to experience and feel the healing. You do not need to understand the minutiae and the finer details of how everything in the universe works in order to experience the connection of everything in the universe. Do you understand what we are saying? Play with that idea, dear one. And allow yourself to move into experience that is a reflection of the truth of who you are. You are loved, and we are with you always.